When you're choosing a curriculum, it's very important to remember that it's not one size fits all. In fact, you should be changing the curriculum to fit your needs and the needs of your children. It's easy to think of a curriculum as something coming in that is easy to access, great, the work's done, no more planning to worry about, but that's just not the case. When looking at a curriculum, there are some key things to keep in mind as you're adapting it for your group. First of all, is the space available to you? If this calls for painting or some kind of art project, do you have a space where you're able to get a little messy? If your group is supposed to be in the gym at that time or in maybe the library, it's probably not a great idea and you'll need to change it up a little bit. Also, it's most important to think about what are your kids interested in. If you look at the curriculum and say, no, my kids hate art, they're just going to complain about this, then think about how can I change it to make it something that's interesting to them and they would have fun doing. Also, what kind of materials are going to be available to you? If you're planning to do a read aloud and you don't have access to the book, you need to change that. If it's something that has to do with watercolors and that's not something you have available, then adapt it and make sure you can do it with tempera paint or some other material. Also think about the difficulty. A lot of curriculum, including Imagination Vacation, will have suggestions about how to change it for kids who are younger or English language learners. But make sure you're thinking about your group. Your group might have a lot of kids who aren't quite at that reading level yet and need to have it adapted a little differently. Now let's take a look at how Boys and Girls Club in Waltham adapted Animal Escape from Imagination Vacation. You can pause the video now to take a minute and read how the lesson plan was written. You can also click the link on the screen to download a PDF version of the lesson plan to read it before you see how they adapted it and ran it in their program.
Okay, so who here likes to read stories? Who here has been to the library?
Saturday I'm going to the library so I can buy more books to read.
That's really good. Okay, so in the library there are different kinds of books, right?
Yeah.
They're not all the same, right? There's books that we like to call fiction.
And nonfiction.
And there's nonfiction, right? Who can tell me what fiction is? Look.
Fiction means real, nonfiction real. Fiction means not real. I knew that before.
She's right. Okay, so those of you who couldn't hear Layla, she was very right. A fiction story describes things that are imaginary. Imaginary people, imaginary places, and imaginary events, okay? So those are not real. Nonfiction describe real people, real places, and real events. Does anybody know an example of what a fiction or an imaginary story is? Ethan, what's a fiction story? What's a story that you know that is make-believe? Make-believe. Do you know? Does anyone know a fiction story?
Big Bad Wolf.
Big Bad Wolf is not real, right? There's no Big Bad Wolf running around outside the Boys and Girls Club, right? Remember when we have our listening ears, we raise our hand and our mouths are quiet, right? So there's no Big Bad Wolf outside, right? That's fiction, imaginary.
Dr. Seuss's books are not real.
Dr. Seuss's books are not real, these are fiction, right? Okay, so who can tell me a real, does anyone know a real story? A non-fiction? Who can say, what's a real story? Can someone help our friend out? Let's see, we have, what's a real story? It might be a little bit harder because we read a lot of fiction, right? Can you help out, Ethan? Which one? Rainbow fish is, he's not a real fish, right? He's make-believe.
Do you mean a hammerhead shark?
That's real, right?
Yes! A hammerhead shark
would be real,
A
right?
shark is real.
Sharks are real. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to have help from our counselors, right? We're going to play a game, right? Our counselors are going to come up and they're going to read you a little bit of a book that they picked out, okay? So we got to make sure our listening ears are on. Super listen. All right? So our counselors are going to come up and they're going to read to you, and then they're going to ask you if it's fiction or nonfiction. And they're going to ask you to raise your hand if you think it's fiction, or raise your hand if you think it's nonfiction, okay? So are you ready to guess this game? And maybe we're going to earn some points?
Yeah.
All right. Let's welcome our friend Anna.
So, does you remind me of what nonfiction and fiction is? Because I totally forgot.
Nonfiction is something real, and fiction is not real.
Thank you for reminding me. Alright, so today we're going to be reading about sharks. Alright, after I'm done, you guys have to let me know because I'm not sharks. Out in the ocean, something is swimming. What is it? Dun-dun, dun-dun, dun-dun. It's a shark! A shark is a fish.
No. Yes.
Yeah.
It's a kind
The book says a shark.
It's because it's a kind of fish.
Listening ears.
There are many kinds of sharks. Some are so small they fit in your hand. Others are bigger than a school bus. Most sharks have rounded bodies. Not this shark. This shark's body is flat as a pancake. Next time you visit the ocean, think of the many sharks that are out there. But don't think too hard. All right. Was this book fiction or nonfiction? Okay. Everybody raise your hand if you think it's fiction.
Fiction means
That it's not real.
imaginary.
Now raise your hand if you think this book was real, not
That's
nonfiction.
real. That's real.
Yep, all the sharks in here were real. There's so many different types of sharks.
Okay, so the name of this book is A Frog in the Bog by Karma Wilson and Joan Rankin. This is really cool illustration.
I think I'll be Brian.
That's right. There is a frog on the log in the middle of the bog. A small green frog on a half-sunk log in the middle of the bog. He flicks one tick as it creeps up a stick. One tick in the belly of a small green frog on a half-sunk log in the middle of the bog.
What's a bog?
A bog? It's kind of like do you know what a swamp is?
Yeah, those
So it's like a small little lake.
dirty water.
Yeah, it usually has dirty, muddy water with really tall grass all around it.
Like birds drink. And there's and when people are in there, the grass, they will
They might, if it's muddy and squishy, yeah. It wouldn't be too firm.
like a baby. I just want to watch the movie.
Very true.
What the swamps? There's no swamps.
Well, let's see what happens next, guys. Ready? And the frog grows a little bigger. He sees two fleas, and they leap through the reeds. One tick, two fleas in the belly of the frog on a half-sunk log in the middle of the bog. frog grows a little bit bigger. He spies 3 flies as they buzz through the skies. 1 tick, 2 fleas, 3 flies, oh my, in the belly of the frog on a half-sunk log in the middle of the log. And the frog grows a little bit bigger. Okay, we'll stop there for now. We can finish it a little bit later. Okay. Everybody, hands on the floor. Both hands on the floor. All right. I can't reach. If you think it is nonfiction, raise your hand. And if you think that it's fiction, raise your hand. Fiction, not real. Imaginary.
Not real, not real.
Angelisa, why do you think it's fiction?
It is real because it's real. It's not real.
She's asking Angelisa first. Everybody. Does somebody want to help Angelisa out? Go ahead, you guys can shout out.
Can I help her? I know what it is. That means it's not real. Because it's a lie. And it didn't look real. It's not real because
Right. Did you guys hear what Aliana said?
Let's listen to our fact size. We
Can
gotta
you
do
say it
it
one more time? Nice and loud.
it's not real because the front's getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah. We all just ate our snack, right? When we ate our snack, did we instantly grow to get bigger?
No.
No. But the frog in the bog, every time he ate something, he got a little bit bigger right away. That was a great answer.
That was a really good job.
Mm-hmm.
So guys, so one at a time from each group, we're gonna have one person from each group come up, and you're gonna pick one sea creature, okay? And you're gonna sort them. Over here, eyes, 1, 2, 3, eyes on me.
1, 2, eyes on you.
We have the fiction bin, right? And over here we have the nonfiction bin. Nonfiction starts with N. Non-fiction, right?
So it's not.
You see the N over here? And then fiction starts with what? Fiction over here, right? So we're gonna go stay in our straight single file lines, and we're gonna go one at a time, and we're gonna pick our sea creature, and we're gonna sort them into either we think fiction or nonfiction, okay? I'm not sure, did you hear me?
Yes.
We're gonna stay in our single file line and go one at a time?
Yeah.
Okay, when the counselors are ready, they can send one person at a time.
So who do you have in your hand, Jenny? You picked it? Who is it? What movie is he from? Turn it over. So you can see the picture. What movie is it? Look at the picture. What movie is he from? Is he from The Little Mermaid?
So is he fiction or nonfiction?
Good
Good job.
Good job.
All right, who's next? What is he?
Good job.
Aiden.
Ethan.
Aiden, what's that? And are they real or imaginary? Oh, so they are. Good job.
Good job, Aiden, nice.
So for my camp, since our age group is 5 and 6 years old, I like to make the program to their level. So I try to take the basics of fiction and nonfiction and focus on teaching them the definition of the terms so that they could use them in the game that we played later. First, we started with the theme. Each week we have a different theme, and this week was nautical nature. So I found that the Imagination Vacation Animal Escape was a great curriculum to tie into our theme, and we just twisted it to be nautical animals. In terms of fiction and nonfiction, we really wanted to hone in on things that were topical to the children for their age group. So we inserted Pokemon, SpongeBob, things that they can relate to in terms of reality and imaginary. I thought it was very important for the kids to understand the difference between fiction and nonfiction, not just in a literary sense, but for real life purposes. At 5 and 6 years old, a lot of our time is spent in the imaginary realm, so I think it's a great place to use books to teach them that there is a line between what is a real event, a real person, a real story, and what is imaginary.